Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the Tier 10 Soviet Collector Heavy, the Object 260. A vehicle which, well, on paper, looks pretty strong, right? It's got DPM, it's got mobility, it looks like it has armor, and the problem is, in reality, it just doesn't have much. Now, to be fair, there are games when you can do very well in the Object 260. I think the last time I played it, I was able to get like a 7,800 damage game out in it. But at the same time, with Wargaming constantly buffing vehicles like the E6, and, giving every tank some special consumable, like the IS-7 gets, tungsten, and the IS-4 gets super speed boost, and everything else, it's a little tricky to enjoy this tank sometimes. But we're going to see what we can do here in today's gameplay. First thing you want to do when driving the 260s, you want to put yourself in a spot where you're able to use your mobility to your advantage. What I find funny is the IS-4 is basically the same speed as me, but with a better gun, more hit points, and more armor. It is kind of silly when you think about it. The big advantage, I'd say, for the 260 over the IS-4 is that you can reverse faster. That's like the big advantage. Now we have the Stridsvon K here, and we do get a pen. 309 damage. I mean, it's better than nothing. At least we're up against tanks that aren't necessarily very strong when hull down, so we can get pens into them, as you can see. There you go. Another nice shot into the Stridsvon. Our team's playing fairly aggressive on the other side of the map. We have the 4202. Unfortunately, the shell misses there. I'd love to be able to push up, but right now that's obviously not a optimal play. We do have the 4202 showing me his turret. There you go. Nice 412. Not bad, not bad. We're up 2,000 damage at this point. E4 is still chilling off on the flank there. We have the Stridsvon showing me his side, so we're going to get a pen into that. Nice. Okay. E4 is going to aim in on the side of our teammate. I'm going to aim in on the 4202. See, this is the part of the 260 which doesn't make sense. Like, why is the gun so troll? Why is it not just good? I don't understand that. We got shot for 290. Is that an autoloader? No, it's a WZ. Like, I don't know. It confuses me so much, this tank, because the gun should be more accurate, and a lot of things should be a lot more on this tank, and they just aren't. Which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Now, at this point, we're going to get, obviously, the Conqueror cleared. There you go. And then we have the 4202 right here, which we're going to use our DPM on. Or, actually, it doesn't really matter, because that player's dead either way. Get a nice shell into the 50B. 50B puts on reactive, which did actually help that player, because they proceeded to get shot right after that. I'm going to ignore the 50B right now, because I'm going to get to the rear of the E4, get a nice 370 shot. And now the 50B can back off, and we can ideally get a decent shot into this player very briefly. Bonk. There you go. And then all that's left is a WZ-132-1, who we can actually see. So this was not a bad game. We're up to 4,000 damage, and we can see where the 260 definitely has capabilities, right? The mobility is solid, and pushing potential is fine, but I don't really necessarily think this would have been a very hard game for me to do well in, I don't know, a E5 or an E6. An E6 I probably could have done more damage, to be honest. There you go. Nice 424 into the WZ. Bro's just going to run away and try and waste everybody's time. Classic light tank player. Gets shot by, I don't even know what shot him. Yeah, the 183 with an HE. The question is, like, what are we gaining from this play here? Like, the play is to run away and, as I said, waste everybody's time, but, like, why? Well, now he's just going to sit there. I find it funny that the IS-4 is legitimately faster than me, because my power-to-weight ratio on this terrain is slower. Aiming, aiming. There you go. Not bad. We did fine. We did 4,500 damage and got a win. I always ask the same question, right? You're in a light tank. You're in a situation where you know you're going to die. You have a couple options. Option A is run away and never shoot and just keep running and running and running. Option B is try to do a last stand, try to get some bleeds out, try to fight a tank. And that WZ chose the option of, I'm going to run, I'm not going to do a single shot of damage while I'm running, and then I'm going to die. Like, I don't know. I've just never understood that thought process. What do you gain from doing that? What do we gain from running? Just fight. See what you can do. You're not going to win that game ever. You know what I mean? If I'm ever stuck in a situation like that, I might run, but you're not going to see me just run and run and run and run. Like, if I know I'm screwed, I'm going to try and get a last stand. I'll put myself in a spot where I know I can get as much farming potential as possible, where the 183 can't shoot me, and then I'm going to try and deal as much damage as possible. That's kind of my game plan. But what do I know? Either way, let's try and get one more game out in the Object 260. First game, we definitely saw where the tank can do well, right? The mobility allowed me to quickly get into position, which then gave the E6 the ability to move up to, and we pushed up, we got some bleeds into the Stridsvon, we got some bleeds into the 4202. But imagine if instead of that enemy heavy being a Stridsvon, it was, I don't know, let's say a Kron. Then you got to ask yourself, what do I do in this tank against a Kron? And the answer really is nothing. I can't. If it was an E5, you just can't do anything in that situation. So whether you're able to do well or not in this tank is sometimes fully dependent. Okay, flat bounce on the side of a 57 heavy, gotta love that. But whether you're going to do well in this tank is sometimes fully dependent on the enemies that you go up against as well. So we have the grill in the back. Gun on this tank, like, I don't know. It's very annoying sometimes. I'm playing passive because at the end of the day, what are we doing, 57? Like, actually, what are we doing? Like, how bad can we be at this game? Pretty bad is the answer, but, like, actually, what is that? Now we're going to get YOLO'd by the Rhino, because for some reason our team didn't, like, spot him or something. I don't know. We have to load gold to pen the Rhino's upper plate, but that's fine. We still got a pen, and... Am I going to get YOLO? No, there's no way that Bashation's going to YOLO me. Not with my teammates. We're just going to wait here, and we'll see if that Rhino shows me his turret. Bashation's dead already. I'm going to move up and aim it on the grill. There you go. Nice 370. Not bad. Let's put on my adrenaline. Maybe I can get another shell into the grill or something like that. Maybe not. Rhino jumped down. Is the grill going to back up? No? Oh, come on. There you go. This game's already over. I mean, it really doesn't matter what I do at this point because the enemy team is so cooked at this point in time. It's just one of those games where everybody immediately steamrolls and it's just over before it even began. I'm going to ignore the Bastion. I really don't care if you full clip me, to be honest, bro. I really don't. I'm going to shoot at more important targets, like the E100, who's the only tank left on the enemy team. But what a goofy battle. We didn't even do anything, but I don't know. Sometimes when you play Blitz, you have to play passive because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if your team's going to steamroll. You don't know what is going to be the outcome. And I don't trust my teammates enough to get wins. So I play passive, and that way I don't put myself in a problem situation. Especially, we saw that Rhino YOLO'd right up on me. If I'd been playing a bit more aggressive there, I could have been shot by the grill, could have been shot by the Rhino twice, and my game would have been over. So sometimes you just got to play smart. Unfortunately, that game, our whole team did well, and because of that, you get into one of those steamroll games where if you're not actively holding the W key and killing yourself, you don't get top on the team. But it's all right. We did our job. We held, and we tried to bleed out the enemy. Let's try one more game here in the 260 and see what we can do. Oh boy, Canyon. One of the worst maps for this vehicle because you have 6 degrees of gun depression. Oh man. I mean, we've been getting decent matchups. At least none of the enemy tanks have been rather cringe haul down vehicles, which is good. I mean, the last game definitely had cringe haul down tanks, but not this game. Oh man. Our whole team is going towards the right, which isn't bad, but it's bad for me because I'm in a tank that literally can't do anything on the right. I've got some options weighing through my mind, and one of the options is possibly YOLOing up here. I'm going to go for it. You know, sometimes I have terrible ideas, and this is one of those terrible ideas, but I'm legitimately going to go for it. I might bleed a lot of health for it, but the thought process is that if I position my tank right here, let me also aim it on that Sheridan, there you go. But the thought process is if I position my tank in this spot, I can kind of... Oh, I don't have much support. Oh, no, I do have support. Okay, we're good. We're good. I was a little worried there that I had, like, 0 support, but we are fine. But this spot here is actually surprisingly good, because what we're able to do is we can kind of force the enemy to be in an awkward spot here, where they're going to constantly be spotted any time they poke. And that's obviously really, really good for me. Interesting. I don't know why our team's not making a play at all. Like, to move up or do anything. Alright, well, let's move over here. And let's see anybody there. There's, okay. Gotta love the accuracy of the 260. Gotta love that. There's the WZ. Right now, we realistically can't do much. Maybe I can get a shell into the WZ if he decides to move up a bit. Come on. I can't pen that WZ at all. Like, it ain't happening, Chief. Got the Sheridan all the way in the back. And as of now, it's just one of those games where we kind of just sit and do nothing. There you go. Nice shot into you. Okay, WZ is going to try and, like, YOLO out in the open, but I just don't need to poke the WZ, and then we don't need to worry. Let's see, WZ is a damage gunner. Just gonna keep waiting. There you go. WZ shoots. We get a nice shell. There you go. 2,000 damage Del. No, not bad. Not bad. I mean, the game play that I decided to make here, I think was actually a fairly smart play. Because as I said, what it did is it forced the enemy into a spot, which ideally they probably didn't want to be in, where I'm able to just control the situation here. There you go. Easy clear into the 2 and 5B, because that tank's armor is more of a joke than mine, which is impressive, because this tank does not have armor. Alright, WZ shot. Leave the E6 on the flank here. And load in a gold shell. There you go. Pen his turret. Not bad. WZ in the back. And WZ is definitely a threat. But we're going to move up right here. Load a gold shell. Get a nice 360 clear. And let's just drive over the ridge and see if we can get another shell out. 90 damage. Wow, that was a good HE there, Mr. E6. It'd be great if our, Kron didn't, like, sit and cap the base, but there's nothing I can really do about that. So, we're going to get a shell into the Sheridan. And Hovry's probably going to... Oh, he does get the clear. I don't know. I hate Sheridans, so anytime I have the opportunity to shoot a Sheridan, I will. Well, that was not a bad game. We ended up winning. And I used my team's push to my advantage. We ended up dealing 4,000 damage. See, sometimes it's worth it to bleed health to get into an aggressive position. The spot that I put my 260 really stopped the enemy from making any plays in mid, and that gave our team a huge advantage because it meant they could cross and they could spot whatever they wanted without having to worry about a tank pushing up on them. Because if a tank tried to push up on their side, I could have immediately bled it out. So it gave our team the hill advantage. It allowed me to chill in a spot that would stop anybody from trying to move out in the open, and because I had tanks behind me, I didn't have to worry about them YOLOing me. That's how you can play a game well. Now, I don't know what the heck this Kron was doing, capping the base the entire game, but I'm not going to get mad. We won either way, and not only that, the game was not dictated by base cap. So at the end of the day, I mean, the 260, it definitely has capabilities, but the problem is, I just feel like the IS-4 and as well the T95E6 kind of just defeat the purpose of it. But you guys can let me know your personal feelings, comments, and opinions down below. If you'd like to see more like this, please consider smashing that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!